All right, all right. What's good, YouTube?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, Kelvin?
What's going on, Duane? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. How about you?
Yeah, good, good. Did you enjoy the last few days of 2018? How about yourself?
Yeah, man, the same. Enjoying it with my family, reflecting. Getting ready for this new year.
Yeah, same here. Saying that, I actually wrote down my goals last night for this coming 2019 and the next 3 to 5 years as well. So hopefully we can touch on some of those today as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. A dope conversation. I believe we about to have.
Mhm.
Um, before we continue, two things, bro.
Yeah,
That's a dope shirt.
yeah, it's not bad. Is it? My girl, do you want to say hi? My girlfriend got me it.
Hi.
Oh, that's what's up. Shout out to the girlfriend for coming through.
Yeah, I got it for she got me for Christmas, and when I opened up the present, I wasn't expecting it at all. So,
Okay.
hey, that's nice.
Yeah. Hey, you gonna have to get that on some merch, bro.
Yeah, maybe so. I might do. I might do. Who knows? 2019, maybe we'll see.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yo, the second thing.
Mm.
I'm not sure if everyone is watching on the live stream or if you're watching later on. Kelvin just released his top 5 tips on passing the CCNA security. Bro, that was powerful, man.
Yeah, thank you. I've actually since I posted that post actually, it's had quite a lot of hits. I've seen that a lot of people out there looking at maybe focusing on the CCNA security next year or later on in the future. And I kept getting loads of questions on Twitter, on Instagram, asking me about different things about the CCNA security, and I just thought, okay, let me put together a blog post. So I thought, why not? So I just took the time out and just basically wrote down my 5 steps on what I believe you need in order to actually pass that CCNA security. So if you've not checked it out, guys, and you're thinking about going for the CCNA security, then feel free to jump on my website, and you'll be able to go through those steps and hopefully get certified for 2019. But yeah, I mean, the basically the 5 steps that I've put down, just to kind of elaborate a little bit on it a little bit more. The 5 steps are not kind of a quick fix in getting certified in the CCNA security. You still need to go out there and you still need to put in the work in order to get that CCNA security. But the steps that I've put down are steps that I believe are required, or steps that I took in order to prepare myself ready for the CCNA security certification. So definitely, if you've not checked that out, www.networkwizkid.co.uk. The post is on there. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment on the post or reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, any one of those. And yeah, that's it pretty much. I mean, I know I've still got. I think.
All right. Okay, I'm hanging up. Okay, thanks.
I'm gonna put together a video. I think next year where I walk through the CCNA security blueprint, and kind of give you guys some tips on how to actually work at securing the security blueprint for that certification. But we'll cross that bridge. How to actually work at securing security blueprint. So yeah, that's it.
Hey, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Could you share that link in the group chat so everyone can have it?
Yeah, let me share that now. Just give me a second.
Cool. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna do some shout outs real quick in the chat. What's good, everyone? We thank y'all for tuning in on this last Sunday.
Can you guys hear me?
2018. Yes, we can, Erica. We can't see you though.
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can't see you though. So I'm gonna do some shout outs real quick. Enzo, what's good? JW Uber 2017, what's good, family? Ahmad, what's good? Good morning, Antonio. What's poppin', family?
You got it.
Lyndon Dallas, what's good? Lorenzo, what's poppin'?
I'm gonna dial back in because I'll be right back.
I can hear you, Erica. What's up, Tom?
You got it. You got it. What's happening?
Man, chilling. We already live, bro.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was looking at the. Well, actually, I was making me some green tea. I'm slightly under the weather, and I had the wrong link, so I apologize to the faithful community out here.
Nah, that's my fault, man. All good. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hopping on. Tiffany.
What happened no other way?
Alrighty. Tiffany, what's popping? Shout out to the moderator. Keyron, what's good? T Yang, what's popping? Man, Daryl, what's popping, family? Network Bruh. Hey, if you all have not checked out Network Bruh and you're working on your CCNP, please do me a favor and check out Network Bruh. He's been putting out a lot of exam topics from the CCNP that are very, very detailed and extremely helpful. Please check out his channel. Hey, Network Bruh, put your link in the description. Matter of fact, let me see if I can link it real quick. And I want y'all to go check out his channel. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So,
hey, Network Bruh, you know, being that I was your first subscriber, I mean that should count for something, you dig?
All right, there's a link to Network Bruh. Like I said, if you're working on your CCNP, please go check him out. He's putting a lot of helpful information out to the community. What's up, Zach? What's good, fam? Keyron, what's popping? Adriano, Taz. Hey, I don't know if you all know Kelvin and Antonio, but you all know Taz. You know, currently she got hired at Red Hat. She's doing great right now.
Oh wow! Congratulations! In fact, I seen a post this morning about Red Hat and how she's trying to actually work on getting more people following the same path. So yeah, shout out to Taz for doing that. And if you're interested in Linux, anybody that's watching, then you know definitely reach out to Taz. She seems to be putting out some great content out there. She's a woman in tech, so you know as well. If you're a woman in tech trying to get into tech, you know Erica, Taz, Melissa, you know there's loads of good people out there doing things. So you know, but definitely Linux, reach out to Taz. For sure.
Keyron, what's good, fam? Keyron is another one doing this thing, holding it down at Google. You know what I mean? It's a big thing on the channel, man.
Wow, Google as well. Okay, we've got some big hitters in here.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Kelvin, I see the shirt. Really? That's what we're doing? First thing in the morning? That's how we rocking? Okay. All right.
I'm always
what we doing.
I already know that. You already know.
He's trying to stop.
Something came today too this morning, man.
Yeah, you got that book?
Yeah, appreciate it. That's how we play? Y'all play too much.
He's trying to stunt this early this morning. That's what he's trying to do. Ain't no shame, no worries. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Wait a minute, hold up, Erica. Say something. I want to see your say something. Oh,
good morning.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah, so that's how we rocking. We got plaques on the wall.
Oh yes. See that? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I didn't see it yesterday, but we got plaques on the wall. Okay.
Yes, that's a new improvement for you. Hey, my husband's working at lightning speed, man. Lightning speed. If you were allowing me trying to knock some holes in the wall, hey, we'd have to get a whole new whole new wall in.
Hold on, man. My necklace on, man. Oh, my necklace on.
Yeah, that's a beautiful plaque. That is a beautiful plaque.
I can't even do nothing with that.
Right, we ain't got one of those yet. We can't lift up. You know?
I know. I think I just do kicks.
Oh man, see, I'm not even about to mess with none of that. I can't mess with that. Oh, this guy. I got wrapping paper. How about that?
Man, I tell you, you guys are wild this morning, wilding out.
Hey, so this 2018 has been amazing. I was looking on my YouTube and I uploaded my first video on December 27, 2016. That was my first video on YouTube. My first subscriber was my boy Said. So Said, if you're watching, shout out to you, bro, all the way over in Holland. I love you, man, and I appreciate you. Now, since then, the end of 2007, going into 17, going into 2017, I had 5,000 subscribers in the first year. So this is my second year on YouTube. And it's been so powerful to meet y'all, and to just have other people in the community come forward and just build this relationship that we have formulated. I thank each and every one of you, for sharing your stories, for adding value to the community, encouraging me in everything that you've done. It's been it's been such a help, for me to keep going on this journey. And with that being said, we talked yesterday about reflecting over this last 2018, because a lot of times we're out here, it looks like we're all successful and we're all succeeding, but there are times where we reach those mountains and we reach those pitfalls and somebody has to pull us up, or we have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps to go forward. And I figured it'd be a great idea for us to share, just our 2018.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think it's great that sometimes you have to have that reflection and then do an assessment to see, where you came from and where you got to go. So, these, for the upcoming year. So I think that's great.
No doubt. So, in order to, do this appropriately, who wants to start it out and kind of share their 2018, some of their struggles and, and not just the struggles, some of those things that seemed like they were easy success, may have took them a little more work than what people thought.
I can go. It's nothing. As I thought about this since yesterday when we spoke, I wanted to come at this from a holistic approach. So many times the people that we interact with and that reach out to us, they ask us about the technical side, but they have real life going on. And for me, 2018, from a technical professional standpoint, was one of the best years I've had. I experienced a lot of growth as a leader. I was placed in position within Cisco to be around more C-suite level executives. I was nominated to attend a conference in October in DC, where I later find out that it's for the top African-American performers within your organization and your specialty areas. Went through consulting development, got the highest bonus, everything just fell in line. But in that, real life happened to me. Starting around June, financially, I had a goal. I set a financial goal every year, and I achieved that financial goal early, and it all just started to real life happen. I came home one day and to a sewage problem. Well, no, I came home one day and my garage was flooded. Lost my water heater. A week after that, we're leaving the country on vacation. I'm thinking I can come back and be good, and I come back and the sewage in my home was backed up to the point where right where the city takes over, or right before where the city takes over and where my house, the piping from my house comes out, is a blockage that I had to have literally a 6-foot grave plot dug in my front yard. And then that was costly. Oh, and then, by the way, a couple of weeks after that, I end up discovering some things about myself with mental health. I battled some real issues from the military. And then I lost my girlfriend. So all of this actually, let me back up. Lost the girlfriend before the trip. So that spearheaded a lot of things. And it had been a complete and pure struggle mentally and emotionally, and financially. But if it wasn't for the creator of this Lab Everyday movement, having the insight and foresight to know that it's not just about tech. It's about people. It's about life. It's about it's really about relationship. I'm not sure, honestly, that I would have been able to make it through all of this as efficiently as I did without Erica calling me saying, "Hey, are you okay?" Without Kelvin reaching out and saying, "If you need me, I'm here." And without Dewan's constant, "Hey, bro, you good?" Or "I'm praying for you." I missed my weight loss goal. As a matter of fact, I started the goal wanting to lose 40 pounds. And now for 2019, I need to lose 50. So if you do the math, I actually gained weight. So it's been a complete and total disaster. But I sit here and I smile because what I want y'all to take from this is that life happens. It happens. And, you're going to win some. You're going to have some things to be proud of, and capitalize on that. Take a moment to step back and say, look at what I did. If you passed your CCNA, right? But it took you 3 attempts. So you just figured out 2 other ways not to pass it, but you passed it. Right. You applied for this job and you didn't get the job. It's legendary. I didn't get a job that I wanted. I applied for a position that's similar to what Erica's doing, or will be doing, and that's her story. I'll let her tell that. But I didn't get that position. And, in my interview of them talking to me about it, I was actually told, you didn't get it not because you wasn't qualified. So that can be a hard pill to swallow. But, I got another position that sets me up perfectly for that position that I want anyway. So you got to find the silver lining in everything, and don't be afraid to face your losses. They're going to happen. It's part of the process. It is part of it's part of what's going to make you great. And I know that everything that I went through here in 2018 is going to help me be a better leader for my family and a better leader at Cisco. And when people come to me on my team that say they got this going on, I can relate better and say, I understand that. I've been there. Here's what I did.
Wow. Powerful testimony. I mean, powerful. I think that the thing that I always take out of that is you've always been able to remain upbeat about everything, very positive attitude. No matter how bad the situation, you're just like, I gotta, instead of looking at and dwelling on the negative, you've always been able to turn that around. And I'll say this much. Don't be afraid to get help. Mental health is important. It's for your sanity, not anybody else. And there's no shame in that. There's been a big stigma on, you go to a shrink and you need to be in the Bellevue in the crazy house. No, you're smart. You're smart to get that help. And so, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I've always admired you and Dwan and Kelvin. You guys have been able to get through a lot, and that's huge. So kudos to you guys. Shout out to you.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, please do not be afraid to face what's hurting you. I served in the military in an organization that I love with every fiber of my being. Everyone that knows me knows that I have the Marine Corps tatted on my chest because it's tatted in my heart. And I'm dealing with real life based upon that. You're not weak if you need help. especially to the men out there. You're not weak if you need help. You're strong if you admit it, and you're strong if you try. It's nothing wrong with trying to find the answer yourself, but it is something wrong if that's where you stop. You gotta get help, whether that's however you do it, whether you're talking to a friend, and I'm thankful for the 3 friends I have on here, or whether you go talk to a professional. You matter.
Mm-hmm.
So know that you matter. So make sure that you matter enough to be the best person that you could possibly be for the people that love you and for this world that needs you. And I'm off that and let somebody else go ahead and share because we got limited time.
Shout out to you, Antonio, for sharing that. That's very powerful stuff. And like you said, it takes a real man to be able to stand up and speak about stuff like that. And I guess I could probably say, I've been through some of the similar things. I've been at a point in my life where I felt like I can't talk about specific things to, even my parents because, I'm a man and, I should really just be able to shut up and deal with it. But, it comes a point when you actually realize that that's not how it's supposed to be. And, you need to actually reach out to somebody, speak to somebody and, get help. So, shout out to yourself for doing that. I just want to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate Dewan, the movement. I appreciate, Erica. I remember, a couple of months ago before, after our last live, I think we all did together, Erica reached out to me on, internally, on our internal systems at work and just asked me if I'm okay, how am I doing and stuff. Little stuff like that matter. Everybody needs somebody. So shout out to you for standing up and even speaking about all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you for those that are listening now and watching, if you listen to what Antonio just said there, he didn't once mention anything about failure. He didn't mention the word failure. And I think the reason he didn't mention the word failure because Antonio doesn't see failure as being failure. I don't see failure as being failure. The way I see it is that if you go along in your life and you're always succeeding without failing, then you're not really learning. I think you learn best when when you have those pitfalls, when you don't actually get what you want. You start to think about it more and you look at different ways in achieving or being able to achieve what you want or what you desire. Or it might even be that you realize that it's not actually what you wanted in the first place. I joined the Royal Marines when I was 21, 22. And shortly after getting down to the Commando Training Center, I was discharged on medical grounds. And after being discharged, and I really had time to think about it, I realized that it's not really what I wanted to be doing. And anyway, I appreciated everything that I went through at the time, but if my life had taken a different path at that time, I didn't get discharged, who knows where I'd be now. I don't think I'd have a degree now. I don't think I'd be working for Cisco now. I don't think I would have done half of the things that I've done now. So I appreciate everything that's happened to me, whether at the time it seems bad, it works out in the end. And if you actually look back and realize what you've done or achieved since that pitfall, you realize that you've actually managed to do something even better, or at least in my case. But I mean, if we're looking, I've got my goals in front of me. So looking more at the goals, I started doing this in 2015. I think I was in my second year at university, and I really wanted to start taking a hold of my life and really starting to direct my life the way I wanted it, rather than just going with the flow, which is what I was doing, before I started goal setting and actually working towards something. So I started to write down my goals at the end of every year. So around this time, every single year, I decided to start writing down my goals. And the way I do it is I set 1 year goals and I set 2 to 5 year goals. So what I decided to do is set my yearly goals, things that I would like to achieve within that year. And then these could be personal or technical. I think the more I've got into technology, and I have more technical goals now as well, but I still have personal goals as well. And then the 2 to 5 year goals are, goals that I would like to achieve, but I'm not too sure I can achieve them in the year, and that's whether that be because I'm too busy with everything I've got going on in that year, or because I think it requires a little bit more work in order to attain or achieve those goals. And one thing that I always do as well, which I pointed out to you guys yesterday when we had a call and we had the chat, was that I also like to track the goals that I've actually achieved and the ones that I haven't achieved. And the reason I do this is because I like to look back and appreciate how far I've come with the things that I've managed to achieve in the time that I've achieved it. And I also track the goals that I didn't achieve, and I reflect on why I didn't achieve them. So I think that's very important as well. So I think just looking from 2015, when I started setting goals, I've got a little piece of paper in front of me with my goals on that I've achieved, etc. I've achieved in 2016. So I started doing this at the end of 2015. So in 2016, this is, I'm going to read it how it's written, how I've written it. So in 2016, a goal that I achieved was work for an international company. That international company is now Cisco that I work for. And the reason that I want to work for Cisco is, one, because I went through university just studying Cisco, so it made sense for me to stick with Cisco. And I enjoy the technology and I enjoy working with Cisco equipment. And two, I wanted the opportunity and the ability to travel the world and also have that possibility to relocate to a different country if I wanted to. So for me, that was a personal goal as well as a technical goal, and I managed to achieve that in the first year of actually setting that goal. So for me, that was a massive achievement, probably one of the biggest achievements that I've got to date. And same for that very same year, I actually passed my CCNA routing and switching. So I put on there that I wanted to pass my CCNA routing and switching, and I did that just after I graduated university. This very same year, I wanted to graduate with a first-class honours degree in computer networks, and I did graduate with a first-class honours degree in computer networks. So that were another big achievement. And quickly just running through the other ones, the sort of things that just to kind of give you an idea of the things that I set, it was things like pass my CCNA security exam. That was 2017. I managed to pass that. Pass my final assessment at Cisco Krakow, and then return and work back for Cisco UK and Ireland. I managed to do that. I have the ability to save money monthly now that I have a steady income. So again, this is more of a personal thing. So working dead-end jobs before I actually got to university and stuff, I never had the ability to put money aside. We're always working paycheck to paycheck, if you like, and it was a struggle. Yes, I had everything that I paid. I had all the bills covered, but I didn't really have any extra money to be able to do everything that I wanted to do, or to be able to take my child out when she wanted, and just do anything when I wanted to do it. So this was a real concern for me, and it was a goal to kind of get on my feet and be able to have a bank balance where I don't really need to worry no more. So I feel like I've managed to achieve that now, and I'm really happy for that. And then the rest of them was pass my CCNP routing and switching. I did that in 2017. Pass my CCDA. I did that in 2017. Explore the possibility of doing an MBA. That was for this year. So I actually thought about doing a master's degree in business administration this year, but because I'm so focused at the moment with work and certifications, I didn't actually apply for the course. But if you take into consideration the wording, I only said explore the possibility of doing it, and I've explored the possibility of doing it, and know that I could probably do it, but it's now finding time for when I actually decide to do that. This year I managed to achieve, so I wanted to get a job promotion and a pay rise in Cisco. I managed to get both, so that is a goal that I wanted to achieve. I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. I just wanted to achieve it, and I did manage to achieve it. So I'm very happy.
Congrats on that, bro.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yes, great.
Thank you. I wanted to achieve my fitness targets at the gym, similar to Antonio. And so my actual wording, I put achieve fitness targets at the gym and then some, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I just know I wanted to live a healthier lifestyle. So I knew that, maybe I've got to go to the gym and put a little bit of work in. So I managed to do that, and the way that I tracked that was by every 6 months I weighed myself. I got my body mass fat index done. I got everything done, and I kept track of it, and every 6 months I could see the results, and I managed to achieve some good results. I didn't put specifics on what I wanted to lose or what I wanted to gain, but I managed to, it's worked out a lot better now, so I'm happy with that. And then I had another goal, which was actually travel over across the pond to America, to you guys, and I managed to do that twice this year, in fact. So, when I wrote this goal, I never thought I'd be doing it twice in 1 year, but, I did it, and, I'm happy that I've been able to do that. So that's the sort of thing that I set, personal and technical. Moving forward, if we just take a step back just to kind of look at the things that I didn't achieve, I think it's important when you actually set goals that you, review your goals at the end of the year. There's no point setting goals and at the end of the year just forgetting about them and writing new goals. It's important to review your goals, to assess whether you've achieved them, and also assess whether you've not achieved them and why you've not achieved them. So this is what I do. So just reflecting on the things that I didn't achieve is, I think one big one for me is the CCIE security written exam. I didn't manage to pass that this year, as the year's out nearly pretty much. I'm not going to have time to do it again now, but I think the reason I didn't achieve it is because ultimately I require a little bit more work on certain elements that the exam blueprint has. It's not that I won't get it, I will get it at some point. It just won't my time yet, So when I actually failed the exam, I wasn't.
You didn't fail it?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, you know what? I don't see it as failing. When I didn't get the result I wanted, or when I didn't get the pass, is a better way to put it.
Right.
I wasn't really gutted. I left the exam and I was like, okay, not my time yet. Back to the drawing board. Look at the things that I could have done better in, based on the scorecard, and then go again. Just want my time yet. And I feel like these attempts that I have at the exam and any other exam that I've done that's been challenging, when I don't get what I want, it sets me up better for next time, because it makes me just it gives me the ability to focus a lot more and work a lot harder to understand the concepts, to grasp the concepts, and actually hopefully pass the exam the next time around. So as I said at the start, don't look at failure as failure. Look at it as a way to build upon what you already know to achieve greatness. That's the way I look at it. So that's one thing that I didn't achieve that I wanted to achieve this year, but it's not going anywhere. So I'm still going to pass it one way or another. I'm going to pass it. I don't know when. I've set for the next year's goals. I've set to actually pass the CCIE security written. I believe that in 2019 I'm going to pass the security written. Well, I don't believe I'm going to pass the security written, but that's coming. And next year is my time, and that is on my 1 year goals list. And this is what I'm going to get. I've got a few other personal things on my 1 year goals list that I'll quickly cover and let someone else jump in, because I can talk forever about this stuff. And that is, you know, I want to be able to get a mortgage. Now that I've got the ability to save money, I want to get a mortgage on my own property. I'm actually going through my CCMP security to pass my CCMP security exam. I've got one exam tomorrow. There's 4 exams in total. And the reason I'm doing that is 1, to finish this year with a certification, and 2, to actually grasp the concepts a lot more when it comes to the CCIE security, because everything that's covered in the CCMP is covered in the CCIE, but with a lot more emphasis. So that's one of the reasons I want to go through that as well. So I've decided to take on that extra workload as well, but it's achievable and I'll do it. I've got a few other things on there. I want to assist in taking Lab Every Day to a whole new level. You know, we've got some big plans for Lab Every Day these coming years, so, you know, watch out for that. And thank you for your continued support and tuning in and watching. You know, we really appreciate that. I want to start learning Python and Ansible. Now, I do know a little bit of Ansible, and I have done some stuff with Ansible, but I want to learn it to a point where, you know, I'm really comfortable in the concepts. So, you know, I'll be looking at learning that, and maybe reaching out to Taz as well, because I see she does a lot of stuff in that sort of area, so that'll be useful. I want to secure another pay rise and another promotion. This is another personal goal. You know, I believe that, you know, I've put in a lot of work this year to get to where I am now. I believe that I'm going to continue putting in a lot of work in the projects that I'm working on currently with my company. So I honestly believe by the time it comes to the pay rise, promotion kind of area, you know, I should be lying for one of those. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to take my little girl to Disneyland for her 10th birthday next year. So big 10. So I want to take her to Disneyland, Florida. Or more so, she's told me she wants me to take her there. So I'm gonna have to find some means to get her there.
You taking her to Disney World, not Disneyland's in California, right?
Yeah, sorry, Disney World. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So I want to reach out and take her there. I want to a more personal one, which I'll spend 5 minutes actually talking about, is imposter syndrome. Now, I've put on my 1-year goals. My 1-year goal is I want to work on defeating imposter syndrome. Now, this, many people might not know about it, or many people they might not have heard about the term, but they definitely think it but don't say anything. So imposter syndrome is where you don't believe in yourself, or you don't believe in your abilities to actually be performing the job that you're doing or in the position that you're in. Now, sometimes I believe that I've come a long way in the last 3 to 4 years. You know, I've come a very long way. I've achieved great things, and you know, sometimes I think that it's not, even though it's not been an easy road, it's definitely not been an easy path. I feel like sometimes when I'm doing the job that I'm doing, because I enjoy what I do, and it just seems to just come to me like that. All the information just comes, and I'm like, yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. I also feel like, is this the way I'm supposed to be doing it? Am I suitable for this position? If I don't get something straight away, I think, am I actually good enough for this position? You know, I look up at, you know, other guys that I work alongside, you know, there might be double CCIEs or, you know, whatever, and they're very knowledgeable. You know, I really look up to these guys, and I think, wow, you know, will I ever get to that level? Can I get to that level? You know, they know a lot. And I also think I just think to myself, is this for me? Can I do this? So that's pretty much the imposter syndrome that I'm fighting. Sometimes I think, am I good enough for this position? Even though ultimately I do know I am good enough for the position, and I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't. It's something that I personally need to work on a little bit more, because maybe I'm too humble and I just doubt myself a lot. I need to really start to give myself credit a little bit more for the things that I do. So that's you know, that's one of probably the most important personal stuff that I'm going to work on this year, along with you know, other stuff, you know, just improving, like Antonio said, you know, just spending a little bit more time on improving you know, my mental state, in terms of, just being happier and, taking time out away from technical life to appreciate life in general. So that's pretty much me. But I'll pass the ball on because I'll talk forever if not.
Real quick before Dwan or Erica jump in, bro, know this, man, that you're the way that you write down your goals and the way that you are meticulous about the things that you want to accomplish in life holistically. As you accomplish those things, just go back and take a look at those things that you've accomplished, and you'll see, man, that not only are you capable, not only are you worthy, but you're dope. Like you are one of the most important humans I've met. So you're worth it. You wouldn't be doing it if you couldn't. And whether it's personal, you can always look at your baby girl and see, you know what, I'm doing something right. Whether it's professional, you can always look and see, hey, I've gotten a raise and a promotion. And think about the projects that you've led. You've led some big stuff this year. So,
Right.
I think we all need to take a step back and think, you know what? And sometimes you mentioned something about being humble. Yeah, we're all four of us are mad humble, but sometimes we gotta flex and be like, you know what? Yeah, I did that shit. Excuse the language. Yeah, I really, I really did that.
True story, man.
Thank you.
To kind of reflect on, I wanted to get to Antonio, but I'm gonna get to Antonio in a little bit. Kelvin, there's two takeaways that I got from what you said. For one, shout out to you for being open, honest, and sharing your story. One of the things that I found with the CCIE attempt that you had, that you didn't pass it. You went back and reassessed the situation and said, you know what, I'm going to get a small victory. Because if you end on something that feels like a failure, it's kind of hard to get back on that horse. And so sometimes we got to take a step back and get a small victory to have confidence to keep going. So I really admire that, and I'm not sure if people caught that, but sometimes when we're going to something that's so vast or something that's so large to accomplish, that we have to get small victories along the way in order to really achieve that major goal. So shout out to you for assessing the situation and doing that, bro.
Appreciate it.
And the second thing about imposter syndrome, I look at tech, especially with where we are, I would say you and I, more so than Erica and Antonio, because they've been in it so long. But for you and I, and for a lot of people that are watching this live stream, when it comes to an imposter syndrome, every day that we go to work, depending on your position, you're doing something you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's easy to feel like, can I do this? Or, to feel discouraged because it's something you've never done. But how do you grow if you don't step out on faith and if you don't push yourself to the limits? And that's something we have to learn to embrace. Like, you know what? I ain't done this before. But look, like you said, I accomplished this before, and I know for a fact that I can accomplish whatever you put in front of me, whatever technology you put in my face, I'm gonna learn it. I may struggle, and that's okay. But either way, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna grow, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm gonna get to Antonio, but I'm gonna let Erica go. Go ahead, Erica.
Oh wow! So my 2018, for me, I'd have to go back to late September, right around my birthday, 2017. At that time I lost my father.
Sorry.
So thank you. So it was kind of traumatic because I was, I lost my mother years before, and that was traumatic as well. But to lose your last remaining parent, that was like, okay, now what? To compound the issues, there was family drama on my father's side that I had to deal with, that my husband and I had to deal with, and that carried over into 2018. So what I did was I kind of had to take a step back, and I too had to go through what they call, mental health, because I had to get Erica back to Erica, or some semblance of it. So with that said, you know, and the help of the therapist, I had to just kind of say, okay, what's important? What can I do to change things? And if I can't change it, then it's got to go to the wayside. Compartmentalize, you know, certain things and just keep going. That helped me out a lot because it was kind of able to refocus my attention on just getting me back together. I took a vacation, a trip in the middle of a big project. I was just like, I gotta go because I gotta just get me back to me because I know when I'm getting too stressed out and everything's starting to kind of compound a little bit is when I start snapping and like, hey, you know, get this, you know, that get this done or get that done, and that's like not productive on my end because it's not how I want to present myself to, you know, other people, or it's just not Erica. So I had to take a break. I desperately need a break, and I did that, and there was no shame in that. I felt refreshed when I came back. Matter of fact, I left my cell phone here in stateside. I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I took a couple pictures on a portable phone. A portable camera, and I was like, this is it. I'm gonna post this crap and let's go. And it was perfect. It was the break I needed. And there was no like, oh my goodness, you know, she's leaving in the middle. Well, hey, you guys, I have to figure this out. And I felt refreshed with that. And that taught me two things. One, it's okay to put yourself first. It's definitely okay to do that. Sometimes as women, we can kind of overextend ourselves, and then you just stretch thin on all parts, and you're just not productive to anybody. And the second thing was it taught me that it's okay to say no to my projects. They'll be okay. You know, it's because earlier I was like trying to push through a lot of stuff. I used the death of my father as a distraction, and it was really just insane. So it was like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Erica, but you just brought up something that I really need to know.
Yeah.
When you wanted to push through those projects, and I understand working through the death of your father and just wanting to focus on that, but what else said, you know what, let me just control this as much as I can and focus completely on that?
I think that was so you're asking me, you know, like why did I choose to kind of power through some of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was using that as a coping method. It was
Nice.
like, you know, if I didn't have to deal with my father's death, and because, you know, not to dive into the gloom of death, but I talked to my father 8 hours before he died. So it was just like caught everybody off guard. I mean, it was like, hey, I called him up, hey dad, you good? You know, you take your meds, because that was our thing, you know, like take your meds, do this, and then I'll leave you alone the rest of the day, and we can peacefully go about our day until the next day. And I talked to him that morning, and then like I got a call from my cousin, and I was like, what? So I used that as a coping method to kind of get through. And like I was saying, that was just insane because I didn't take care of me personally. And so I remember my therapist was like, you know, hey, take a break. You know, it's okay to take a break and you know, just get back to who you are as a person. Never forget that. You know, stay grounded in your zen. You'll hear me say that my place is zen. So I had to get back to being Erica. And so it would just that's why I kind of use that as a coping method to kind of just power through stuff. And it was just ridiculous. And I knew I was having problems, but at some point I was like, you know what? Let me just take a break. And it was okay, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, my condolences, Erica, and you're a strong woman, not
I
just a strong
appreciate
woman,
that.
but a strong person.
I appreciate that. But yeah, that's why I was like, there's nothing wrong with being going to mental health because you got to get you got to get yourself back together. And so once I took that break, I came back, I focused, and then I was able to do my recertifications on my VCP and my CCIE. And then that took me into August of this year, and I said, you know what? There was within our company. There's what they call a new project or a new group that was being formulated, and I decided to interview, for the position. I was like, you know what? Let me just throw my name in the hat. Originally, I interviewed for the same position that Antonio McCarver got, but my mentor, he's a what they call a distinguished engineer within Cisco. He had made the referral, like, no, 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 you need to go for this other position. And I was like, nah, I'm comfortable being this way. And he's like, I'm telling you, go this way. And it was like, next thing I know, the resume that I sent in there got just kind of forcefully uh, redirected to this new position that I'm in now. And that's fine. Kind of like some days you need I guess the mama bear to kick you out the den, like, okay, let's go, let's do something. And, so that's what he did. And I'm grateful for that. I really am. I told him that the last time we talked before the shutdown. It was like, hey, I really appreciate that. I remember interviewing for it. And the first interview, I never forget it. I called Mr. McCarver, Antonio McCarver, and I was like, oh my God. I was in panic mode. I was like, I don't know. Man, they about to walk me out, because it was such a brutal interview. I mean, just if you've never gone through a Cisco interview, it's something that you need to have those heart palpitation things that the doctors use. You just tell everybody to clear, because it's like my heart dropped, because at the end of it I was like, oh, just panic. And I never get it. I told Antonio, I was like, I don't even know if I really want to go through the second interview. You remember that conversation?
I do.
And I was like, Jesus, I'm just being real. All of that, took us into October. We did the second interview. Again, I thought I did horrible, because there was a gentleman on there. He asked me 2 questions, and it just completely threw my entire interview off. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, did I answer that question right? Oh crap! I could have talked about, and it was just like, in the back. I didn't say that to them out loud, but in my mind, as they're asking questions, that was going on in the back of my head. And my mentor, he said, you could see that mental Rolodex, because I could see you thinking about it, because we were on WebEx and sharing our faces and everything. And he was like, that was interesting, because you could see somebody actually literally trying to think about something, trying to pull it out of their mental Rolodex, like, did I answer that, NetConf answer correctly? Did I answer the ACE guy? That type of deal. So I did very well. They called me up. They said that I, got the position, and that was great from a technical standpoint. But from a technical standpoint, from a customer perspective, I got more work piled on me because I was nominated for what they call the consultant of the quarter, and I won that award. But there was so much workload that was dumped on my plate that it was like just insane. My May, June, July, August timeframe was just like one thing after another every single day. It was like 5 different things hurled at me every single hour, it seemed like. But I was able to power through it. But it was pretty, a challenging year, from a technical standpoint. But this was like, man, all the while I was trying to do, set up my lab, my CCIE lab for security, and I thought I was doing very well until when I took the exam right before Thanksgiving, and I got thrown humble pie yet again from Cisco. Like I missed it I missed it maybe about 3 or 4 questions, possibly maybe 5, and that's okay. I have to get back on that what I call the study train and keep it moving. And I was upset about it for about an hour, and I was like, you know what, this is typical Cisco. So hey, whatever, kick rocks. Let's go. I'll get this crap done. At the beginning of the year, and that's why I hadn't really posted that. So when I saw Kelvin Charles, post his misgivings with the exam, I thought, wow, this guy is really brave, because I would have never I would have never had the guts to do that. But I'm saying that now on this forum and this event because I was like, nah, I'm not telling anybody I didn't pass it because here I am CCIE and I still didn't pass the stupid exam, the written exam. So I got to do the written and the lab. But my goal is to get that done this year. Like Kelvin, like let's knock this out, let's get it done, and let's keep it moving. And that's that. I was pissed off about it for about an hour, and I was like, nah, y'all ain't gonna get me this easy. No, I've gone through too much.
Yeah.
So from a technology standpoint, it was the best year, but it was also a very trying year. I mean, also, on another personal side of me, we moved, and I kind of tweeted about that because I didn't have internet for almost a month and a half. Thank you, Verizon. You guys suck. I'm just saying, like, hey, how come you guys can't move like less than 2 miles down the street? It's like, what are we doing?
Hey, that's a different leg. That's a different leg.
Yeah, I didn't have internet access. So here I am on my phone, and I had to do 2 migrations on my phone, and that's why I switched up. And I said, Cisco's paying for this mess. They're gonna start paying for my phone bill because I had to do 2 migrations on my phone and my little AirPod, my little wireless pod. But it was like, this is insane. Who does this? Who goes that extra mile for the customer and all you get is just an atta girl, thank you, and here's the next project you got to go through. So I finally got internet access, so now I feel like I'm back in the game. So I'm back to I guess back to welcoming back to society. Because at one point I felt like I was cut off from everything. So that's been my year in a nutshell. But going forward for 2019. My plan is to knock this security track out, written exam and lab. And then I'm done with anything CCIE track related. I mean, like I probably will not do another one. I think that having 2 of them will differentiate me very well and put me in a really good position. And then get into this new technical leader role, get my feet up under me and kind of just try to do the best I can from a technical leader perspective because I'll have a lot more responsibility on my plate. And try to be as proficient within the data center SDN DevOps role, DevOps environment as I possibly can. And after that, I probably will delve a little bit into the AWS VMware tracks and kind of get a little bit more exposure and learning some more things from a different vendor. So that's it for me, pretty much. So been through a lot, but still keep going, and that's what I want to encourage the community. Keep going, because life is too short to be trying to get boggled down with stuff. So that's it for me.
Erica is she's not keeping it all the way 100 right now. So what people don't know about Erica is that she is insanely intelligent.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But more than that, she is one of the most compassionate humans I've met. And I never forget the day that we talked about that interview because I was going through it too. I literally, I keep something like this in my office for a reason. Right? It was real. But Erica gave me the most crucial piece of advice because I felt like the same thing. I was like, yo, I'm a single parent and Cisco about to fire me. And she gave me some advice that was given to her, which was, you already have a job. If you didn't do so great, so what? Right. You have a job. And that completely calmed me down. But yeah, man. All that to say, get you an Erica on your team. Get you somebody that can help you to achieve. One of the things that she did for me that I don't know that she even understands that she did, but when she's talked to her mentor about her career progression, she name dropped.
Yeah.
And that did a lot for me because her mentor was one of the guys that interviewed me. My mentor was one of the guys that interviewed me. So when they got in that room to talk about me, they was familiar with Antonio McCarver.
Right.
So the connections that you make, the soft skills that we've talked about so many times, the interpersonal skills, they are extremely important. And just a quick tip, then I'm gonna let Juan do his thing. If everywhere you go, there's a problem, there seems to be conflict, you may have to explore the option that it might be you,
Right.
and not everyone else and everywhere else.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, you guys have been phenomenal because I was in a rut January 2018 through, I want to say about April, May. And then I saw that. I kind of stumbled on that lab every day because I follow you, Antonio, on Instagram, but I said, you know what? Let me bring up this Twitter. Let me just try that because Facebook is just kind of just obnoxious, and then Instagram is so much drama out there too. So I was like, you know what? I think I can post my little technical stuff out there and be kind of like, not really posting a lot of fake pictures and also the garbage. So it's just like, you know what? Let me just do my, I like Twitter a little bit better because it seems like it's a little bit more mature to a certain extent. Let me put it that way. So I found that Lab Everyday community, and it just kind of brought me out of that rut. So I really appreciate the community, and this is my way of giving back. But I appreciate everything. I mean, Antonio, I tell you, me, you, and Kelvin, and Dewan, you guys, man, you guys don't know how much you guys helped me out a lot. Trust me.
Hey, I got you. You already
Same
know.
Same here.
Appreciate it.
So, Erica, you got an award, you got a new job.
Yeah.
And you casually mentioned that you do NetConf and ACI like it's nothing. So it sounds like you're winning. I don't think people caught that, but she's already doing, SDN and all that people are talking about now. This is what she does, So shout out to you. And you have a solid husband. He's a dope. He don't say much, but he's the type of person, you know exactly what he's saying without saying nothing. So I can already see that by meeting him. So shout out to him too.
And
I
his
appreciate
advice is on point. Period.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No. Now,
here's how, and I'm done. Here's how dope Erica is really with the data center stuff. I got an email about what's called a cap case, meaning that there's a problem that our CEO is aware of, which means that heads are rolling. I reached out to Erica knowing nothing about it, saying, hey, I'm gonna name drop you, put you in contact with this manager because they got this issue. I couldn't give her much information, and Erica is the one that, got involved in, and got things squared away and straight. And that particular manager is not my manager. He ends up telling me, after that, I appreciate that, for reaching out and connecting me with her. That's how dope Erica is.
I appreciate that. I do. My thing is I've always taken an approach of if I can help you out, that's great, because at that point, we can foster a relationship. And if I ever need help, maybe I can, rely on you guys to say, you know what, I need some help and whatnot. So it's just kind of like relationship building. I mean, if you can help someone out, I would definitely, encourage you to do so, because I think it'll help you out in the long run. Because normally when you can help other people, we all get a chance to learn. And so with that cap case, it got me a lot of exposure to my current manager, John Murphy. So, I mean, that was huge. That was huge because he saw that I wasn't willing to just say, hey, that's not my problem. Because I stayed up with those guys until very late, working with them on a couple things, and they got squared away, and I was like, awesome, that's huge. So
another jewel you just dropped right there. For all of you that are watching this live stream, she had a problem that wasn't her problem, and she didn't say that wasn't her problem. She stayed there and put in the work and helped solve the problem. And not only that, it built her a relationship that benefited her, that she unknowingly needed down the line.
Right.
Just from that one situation. So when you in your position, I don't care if it's your problem or not, help finance. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, because that'll help you out a lot, because it'll show your other team members that they can trust you and they can, lean on you, and you go from the technician and role to trusted advisor, a leader. If I need some help, am I going to call someone that will kind of like, hey, my shift ends at 10 o'clock, I'm done. Well, what happens at, we're still working on it? Well, I'm done. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Or can I call Mr. McCarver or Mr. Charles, Mr. Lightfoot? Because I know those guys will be there for me. And we'll work on this and get it together. You don't have to have all the answers. Like my mentor, he was telling me, he's like, you don't have to be the smartest person at the table. You just have to be able to, definitely, be smart about things. And if you don't have the answer, find out where you can get the answer. If you don't know where to get it, then reach out to your network. Hey guys, I need a little bit of help, and then follow through. Because that was the thing. Sometimes, earlier on in my career, I would get some information and then I wouldn't follow through. But now it's like, okay, I need to follow through and make sure that I can, someone's coming to me with a problem, that they know they can depend upon me. They know I'm going to find an answer for them. And that's what a leader is all about, and that's what DeJuan is about, Antonio, Kelvin, all you guys. You guys are leaders in my book. So
that's a really good point for anybody that's listening, and some of that I kind of hold dear as well. When I first started out in this industry, especially when I first started at Cisco, I thought, that's it. I need to know everything about my domain. There's no two words about it. I'm that guy now, but it's not the case. We spoke about this briefly before. You don't need to know everything about everything. As long as you know where to find that information, you're professional about it, or you reach out to your network and get that information, or have somebody else help you, or reach out to somebody, you should be fine. You don't need to know every specific thing about your domain or the industry that you're in. That's just not the case. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
True story. Okay, so Antonio.
Okay.
My brother. Shout out to you for being open and honest about, the things that transition within your personal life, the mental health issues. And we talked about this, I myself got PTSD and have dealt with mental health. The military was one of those things that you got to learn to transition from. And I don't think people really talk about the actual transition from having a military lifestyle to where everything is structured, everything is provided for, and no matter where you go in your community, you have a brotherhood or a sisterhood. And so once you come out into this real world, it's like dog eat dog. And so now you have to transition. So if you've been to war and you've had this mentality to where you're constantly, how can I say, paranoid or on the lookout for, an enemy that you really don't even know if he's your enemy, it's a hard transition. So I commend you for, just being open and honest about that.
I appreciate that. Thanks, bro.
No doubt, man. And the health,
Right.
I need to lose weight myself. One of my goals was like lose 100 pounds a year.
We all in that boat. So, don't you see? I'm the only one that's pretty much like cut and ripped is Mr. Kelvin over there. I mean,
Right.
Mr. Atlas over there. Come on, man. If it wasn't cold out here, I'd be out walking after this. But it's like, all right, I got to come up with something different, at least for the winter months. So,
yeah, you know what? That may be something that the Lab Everyday community can formulate together and help us all encourage and hold us accountable going into 2019 is that weight loss and getting the health together, because not to single out the Black community, but a lot of times our diet just doesn't align with the diet that we actually need to be successful. You know what I mean? So maybe that's something we can use to help each other get fit.
That'd be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely down for that. I don't know about going vegan though. I've been trying to do this like the last 2 weeks, and this has been this thing. I'm like, man, maybe I picked the wrong time frame for this,
I got some vegan protein.
especially
About the
during
best
the
I'm gonna do with
holidays.
the vegan stuff.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I said I have some vegan protein, and that's about the best I'm gonna do with the vegan stuff.
Yeah. I can't go down that route. It's not gonna work.
I could do it. My wife, she don't eat beef or pork, so and she don't eat chicken anymore either.
Wow.
And she makes some real creative stuff. And actually, I'm gonna shout out an Instagram kind of real quick for all of you that are on Instagram. My homeboy's wife, she has a dope Instagram. And if you're not into vegan food, you're gonna watch her Instagram and look at this and be like, yo, I could eat that.
Are you gonna put it in the chat? Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat real quick because she doing her thing on Instagram. It's black dot vegan. It's black with a Q
Okay.
on Instagram. And if y'all can check that out, I'm telling you, the food she be posting, fire.
Oh, I've been following her for a minute. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that was your people.
Yeah, that's my people. Right,
Yo, yeah, that stuff be looking amazing, yo.
She may need to come out with her own little cookbook or something. Because okay.
And she takes some great pictures of food. It's fire. All right.
I'm
So-
following her right now. All right, I'm gonna check her out.
Cool. All right.
So if we name drop, you think she gonna give us some personal recipes or something? That's cool.
I'll highlight her.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll DM her and see if she can do something. Maybe even see if she can come on the channel or something.
Oh, that'll be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll highlight her. So, all right, yo, it's some dope hashtags too. It's Lab and Get Fit, Adriano. Let me see. Lab and Get Fit seem like it's sticking.
Stand
like
while laughing.
Walk every day. Hashtag walk every day.
That is too funny.
That's what's up. All right, what is that? Hashtag staying while labbing. Oh, that's a good one too. No snacking while labbing. How about that?
That's right. That's dope. That's pretty dope.
All right, I know we all got stuff to do, so I'm gonna kind of share mine real quick so we can, I guess, take a couple questions and get up out of here within the next 15 minutes. Is that good for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for me, my year 2018 pretty much started out. My goals were to finish up my associate's degree. I wanted to make at least 200 videos. I wanted to lose 100 pounds. I wanted to get my Java certification. I wanted to launch labeveryday.com. I wanted to become a network engineer. And there's that. And I kind of go down the line and say if I was successful or not. So the first thing we can talk about is finishing my associate's degree. That was rough. There was a time, I would say back in March, where my life was just crazy because my wife had started working. Now, granted, she hadn't worked in 3 to 4 years. So she started working, and so that changed the dynamics of the house. You know, I got to start doing more around the crib, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, I'm like, hold up. Like, I'm working full time. You know, I'm trying to do my business. I got YouTube, and I'm going to school full time. I about had a breakdown. And so shout out to my boy Jorgen. You know, we communicate. He's overseas. And we were just talking, and he was like, man, you got to put yourself first. I know you want to help people on YouTube, but if you're not taking care of yourself, there's no way you can help anybody else. And he's always told me that. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like I got an S on my chest. Whatever I put my mind to, I can do. And back in March, I kind of just had a breakdown. You know, I was just like, you know what? Forget this YouTube stuff. Like, I need to focus on school. And so I buckled down. You know, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this because I was taking C++. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pass this. And I just got on YouTube and I'm doing coding every day. I'm coding. All right. And I ended up passing, getting my associate's degree. But at the time, it was just like, and I was working on my Java certification, which was trash, because I ended up failing that, which was humbling because I really thought I could do it, but I didn't. And people were like, well, hey, are you going to retake that? No, I'm moving on. That's not for me. And I accept that. But, one of the funny things about that is that from the knowledge that I gained from C++, I actually use that now that I'm learning Python. You know what I mean? So even though I wasn't successful at achieving that certification and I almost drove myself crazy trying to, the knowledge that I gained from that experience is very helpful in writing Python scripts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lesson learned when something seems to really knock you off course and really discourage you. Sometimes there's a message in it that can help you later on in life, kind of like what Erica went through by helping out the manager that she didn't even know, will help her get the position she has today.
Right. So,
another goal, like I said, was to make 200 videos. Like I really wanted to take my YouTube channel to over 20,000 subscribers this year. I didn't do that, but within that, I learned that I'm not even about subscribers. Like I'm not about the numbers. I'm not about making videos that people are searching for. I'm about making content that's really gonna help you in life. That's who I am, and I accept that. Like if I don't make 20,000, if my channel doesn't grow, I know my purpose was to set out and help people, and I've done that and more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at peace, with the work that I put in and the people that I've helped, because people have my number. I've helped people personally. I had people in my house. We did a Lab Every Day meetup, something that I never even, the CMV. So, I mean, God has really blessed, my life and the people that have came in my life. He's used me, and I'm just thankful to be a vessel. So, another goal was launching LabEveryday.com. That's been a how can I say an ongoing process, because for me, LabEveryday.com, I have a vision for what I want to do, and I'm just do my best to make sure that LabEveryday.com aligns with that. So like I said, I know a lot of you are focused on labs and training and learning, but being in tech is way more deeper than just labbing every day.
Right.
And you're hearing this from me. It's way deeper than just labbing every day. Like,
right.
The mental toughness you have to have, dealing with people, dealing with technology,
Right.
the long hours sometimes you have to put in when you don't want to, the on-call rotations, the presentations, the speaking engagements, whatever you have to do, the interview process, like Erica and Antonio mentioned, fighting to prove yourself, fighting imposter syndrome. It's way deeper than Lab Every Day. And honestly, go ahead, bro.
Family sacrifice, that's a big one. You're trying to manage work and family.
Yeah, it's the slogan for Lab Every Day is embrace the tech journey, because it's a journey. And for those of you that are looking to get into it, look, I was on the help desk 6 years. 6 years after the military. And I didn't become a network engineer until this year. I was on YouTube 2 years talking about CCNA and CCNP. People thinking I'm a network engineer, and I wasn't. Now, granted, I could be in San Francisco right now, been a network engineer last year, but that wasn't my time. And I had to wait for the right opportunity. Now, that kind of transitioned me into becoming a network engineer. The reason why I started Java was because I never got the opportunity for the jobs that I applied for locally. I just didn't. But there were a ton of developer positions online. So I'm like, you know what? Let me switch and pivot and get into job coding. and maybe I can get to where I want to be by doing that. I wasn't afraid to try something different because everything I was trying wasn't working.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's a great assessment right there. Is that if it's not working, don't be afraid to pivot. I mean, that's a huge golden nugget right there. That's huge.
Second that, definitely.
Yeah, so I wasn't successful in Java, and honestly, the position that I'm in now is tier 2. So tier 2 support. I'm a network engineer, and I initially applied for tier 3 this year, and I didn't get it. Like in the interview, like I never bombed the interview. Like that doesn't happen. And I went to Ohio to see my cousin, and she was like, "So are you gonna prepare for the interview?" I'm like, "Nah, prepare what? It's nothing." and people think I'm really humble. Up underneath my humbleness is a lot of cockiness and a lot of pride. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, sometimes I feel like I got an S on my chest. And I go to Ohio. My cousin tells me that in the interview humbled me. It humbled me. I mean, before that, I got a job offer to move to Ohio, didn't take it. Got a job offer to move to San Francisco, didn't take it. And those wins right there built my confidence to know, all right, it doesn't matter. This is easy. That interview humbled me. It made me realize that I know nothing about project management. It made me realize that I need to be able to clearly, effectively talk about the projects that I've been on and the part that I play in those projects, rather than just saying, "Hey, I did this."
Mm-hmm.
I need to understand deliverables on a project. And so it's funny how God works. Now I'm in a tier 2 position in the same company, managing over 3,000 sites. Like, do you know how many routers I touch every day?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how God works. And I know that everything that I've done, everything that I've told people has been from my heart. And my intentions is always to help you grow and to become a better person. So with that being said, now I know that I'm ready for a senior network engineer position. I know that I'll put in the work and the time to find out those intangibles that it takes to get to that next level.
Right.
And that's my focus going into 2019, is to say, you know what? I told you how to get in tech. If you want to learn how to get in tech, watch my old videos. Now let's go to the next level. So that's my goal.
A couple of takeaways from that. Erica hit on one that I wrote down, which is knowing when to pivot. I hope everyone caught that on the call, because in this, you have to look at your career in tech as something that's dynamic and not static. And what I mean by that is that sometimes you have to be able to change on the fly, whether that be learning project management or realizing that, you know what, hey, Java ain't what I want to mess with right now.
Right.
Then you said something else that was huge, and I'm gonna wait to the Q&A portion to even go deeper. But you said you understand, or that you know that God is using you. That says to me that you know your purpose. So I think that that's another nugget that folks need to grab on this call, and that's know your purpose, which speaks to know your why. When you know your why, the setbacks are only setups. They're not failures.
Yeah, that's true. And I think one common theme that we've kind of expressed throughout this call today is that everything that set us back, there's always been a greater purpose for every single one of us. So, there's something common there, which tells me that it's the same case for everybody else. Just because it's a setback, it doesn't mean that, it's the end. There's a greater purpose somewhere else.
Yep. Go ahead, Dwan.
You wanted to share something, Antonio?
Yeah, that was a perfect segue. I want to show you what setback looks like, and then I want to show you what success looked like. So let me, and not my definition of success, but so on July 5th, 2011, I took my very first CCIE lab attempt. I wasn't ready, and the only reason I took this attempt was because it was an agreement that I made when I went to my new company at the time when I left Verizon. Look at these numbers. I didn't know what I was doing. The moment was too big for me. I was nervous. I sat at for the first hour of an 8-hour exam, not touching the keyboard, just totally paralyzed.
Wow.
This is second attempt. This was over a year later, August 27th. Did better than my first attempt. And to talk to Dewan's mention about cockiness, I was mad cocky because I'm at work, I'm flexing. I'm at Cisco. I'm like, I'm leading projects, I'm doing the thing, and I get in here and I get my butt totally kicked. Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Got mopped. Attempt number 3. A year later, February 13th. Don't know what happened. That test, and I stuck between August of 2012 and February of 2013. I really went hard. And I was like, you know what? I got to get this before it changes to the collab. So these were 3 attempts on voice.
Wow. And just to stop you there, Antonio, so that's 3 attempts in. Now, how was you feeling in that third attempt? You know, you've done it 3 times over. What were you feeling? Were you feeling like giving up? What were you feeling?
I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to that. At this point, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm at Cisco. I'm leading projects. I'm making money. You know, it became a thing of, okay, whatever. But that's an important question. I'm gonna get to that here within these next 3 attempts. So this was May 14th, 2013. So just a few months after that. So between February, March, April, May, 2.5 months. I'm really like, no, I don't got it. this was you know, I don't know what happened. Like, but the numbers are there. Look, you see, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing because I'm succeeding in real life.
All right.
My first attempt on the collab, though. Now the lab changed. I go to San Jose to have a boot camp, and my instructor says, Antonio, you're not ready. Reschedule your lab. And I'm like, well, I'm not spending $500 to reschedule my lab. I got this. I don't got this. So if you look from May 4th of 2015 to October, right? That's in between the attempts. I didn't touch anything else, collaboration, for studying from May 4th until August. I didn't do anything for 3 months. And in August, Vic calls me and says, what are you doing? Are you just going to quit? You just going to give up? Because yes, Kelvin, after this attempt right here, I gave up. I didn't want to do it. I was like, nah, it's whatever. The CCIE is not in the cards for me.
Mm-hmm.
This attempt was 100% of people believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. And they saying, what are you doing? You can't give up. And by this time, by October 15th, 3 of the people that I was studying with had passed. If you do the math on this, you need an 80 to pass. But if you do the math on this, I was at a 76.
You were real close.
Real close. That was October 15th. But I shared this with you. Nobody has ever seen this. You guys are the first. And I shared this to say that we're going to call it what the world calls it. The world calls it failure. We can go with that. Kelvin said earlier, and Erica said earlier, that Antonio doesn't believe in failure, and I don't. But here's why I don't believe in failure. Because on 6 occasions, I sat in that lab and I gave it my all, except for one. So I'm gonna say, you know what? No, I'm not gonna make no excuses. I sat there. I did it. 6 times I gave it my all, And 6 times I walked out of there feeling the hurt, feeling the pain. This attempt right here, I cried, not gonna lie, because I knew that I gave it my all. I knew that there was nothing else that I left on the table, and it didn't work. But, you know, attempt number 7 brought this.
Exactly. That's my point. You just stun on folks. Yep.
And
Bam.
the day that I did it,
Your birthday.
my birthday.
Yep.
That's how confident I was. So those non-passes, I sat back, Kelvin, and I said, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me dust this shit off my shoulder. Excuse the language. Sorry, baby girl. But let me get back to remembering who I am. Cisco hired me over a lot of people. They put me in charge of a lot of stuff. And at my passing attempt, I was leading the largest unified communication, unity connection, voicemail server migration in the entire world.
Wow.
That had ever been done. And they came to Cisco for it by the largest bank in the world. I led it, I did it, and we didn't roll back not one change. 250,000 mailboxes. I sat there and I said, you know what? Let me pop my stuff and get back to knowing who I am. And I went in there, an 8-hour exam. I was finished in 4.
Wow.
I spent 4 hours just doing nothing but testing over and over and over and over. Did I run into problems? Yep. But even when I ran into problems in my passing attempt, I sat there and said, wait a minute, hold on. Who are you, man? You got this. I fixed that stuff. And I walked out at 8:07 in the evening. I got an email and I logged in and saw my brand new number. So don't look at anything as a failure. Look at it as a setup to get to where you want to get to. Flat out.
Wow.
There you go.
Man, that's like a Denzel Washington speech.
Academy Award. That is huge, because I remember when I took mine. Yeah, it will humble you, and you're right. You go in there very cocky, like, hey, I'm a kid from the South Side of Chicago. I got this, man. What? And then you go in there, interview. You think you're doing good. Test. You think you're doing good, and they will pull the rug or the chair right out from up under you, and you on the floor. Like, what happened? And it's like, dang, I got to remind myself, who am I?
Right.
And if you're not grounded in what you're doing, then I'm not going to say you fail, but it's like your cousin, Dewan, when she asked you, are you going to prepare for it? That is such a gold nugget. Preparation is key. It's not to say that you're not intelligent enough, not to say that you can't pull out your mental Rolodex and say, you know what, here's the answer, Mr. and Mrs. Interviewer or Mr. and Mrs. Exam. Here we go. This is what we got to go. It's not to say that. It's just about being prepared. Right. So when they throw you that curveball, it's like, you know what? I got your curveball because I'm about to hit this thing out the park. Bam. Now what we talking about? What?
Hey.
Fact. And there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And me and Dewan talk about this a lot. I'm humble, but I'm cocky. I've been called arrogant. But I have so many failures in back of me that gives me the ability to do that. I failed a lot. This is my degree, right? 2008. It took me 6. I started working on my associate's degree in 2002. That says 2008. It took me 6 years to get a 2-year degree.
But you did it.
But you did it.
That's the key.
Get it. You can't stop. I mean, let's say you can't quit. You can't stop because you have to stop to reflect and to regroup. You can't quit. You know what I mean? You can't quit. You just have to keep going. And I think one of the things that we can take away from this is you have to surround yourself with people that are, let's say, like-minded, but honestly, you kind of need people that may be of a stronger mind. They're stronger in their own thing that they do. Maybe not exactly what you do, but they're strong in what they do, and you strong in what you do, and you kind of pick up where the other person is weak, and they kind of pick up where you're weak, and then when both of you are weak, you may have that third wheel to say, hey, you know what? or you just lean over on each other and stand up together and keep going. You know, that's how to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, definitely. And not even just technical people, you know, your partner, your wife, your husband, whoever it may be, you know, somebody that's not working in the same space as you know, you need somebody that's got your best interests at, you know, at heart, and, you know, can really see what it is that you want and push you towards, you know, achieving that. Because, you know, regardless of not stopping, you know, or not quitting, you still, like Dewan said, you stop and you need to reflect. And while you're reflecting, you know, especially in my circumstances, there's been cases where I take a step back and I think, is this really for me? And then there's been people that kind of push me and say, Kelvin, don't stop. Like, look how far you've come. Look what you've done so far. You know, this is just a minor setback. Just regroup, go again. And, you know, that little bit of renewed confidence is all it could take for you to, you know, reschedule an exam, or, you know, go for that job position again and get it the next time around. That's all you need.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, like when you get humbled a couple times, like I remember I was interviewing and I did very well on the first interview, and the second interview was a tech screen, and I thought I did very well, but then they got into putting me up on the whiteboard, and then they had this big design. This company I was interviewing, they had this big design on the whiteboard, and then they said, okay, well, based off this design, here's a laptop, here's a computer. We want you to go into this NetSim and then recreate this, and then tell me how you would troubleshoot it and walk through. And I just froze. And it was such a humbling experience because it taught me, one, to be prepared to be able to communicate with people in that type of scenario, because you may walk into that scenario with a customer base where they've been burned by, you know, partners or, you know, other consultants, and they're just like, you know what, I want to test you out before we buy, you know, your services or buy your product, and you have to perform. Yeah, and it's just very humbling. So if you're not prepared, you know, it's failures or missteps will prepare you, because, you know, you've gone through that, you've gone through the struggle, and so now you can pull out that experience. Experience is the best teaching tool, because you go in there kind of cocky and knocking everything out the park the first time. At some point, you're gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say you're gonna. I'm not trying to, you know, say that you're definitely gonna fail, but it's gonna be like, you know, at some point, something's gonna happen where it's gonna teach you a very, very humbling experience. I've been around some of the, like Michelle Obama. She says she's been at some of the most powerful stages and tables in the entire world. Now you think about that. She's FLOTUS, or the former FLOTUS, and she's been at some of the most powerful, you know, settings. And some of the people are not that smart, and you just have to be confident and be prepared for whatever they throw at you.
And also, you need to be able to, if you don't know, you know, you need to be open and say that, you know, okay, I don't know the answer to this, but I could find out. Or just say that you don't know. There's no harm in saying that you don't know.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, once I passed my CCIE, I became even more religious about that, because there are some people that think just because you're a CCIE, you know everything. And it's like, you know what? The most humbling thing I did was pass the IE and said, you know what? I don't know. And I'm quick to tell a customer today, I don't know. However, I'll get back with you. I'll take that as an action item, and I'll get back with you to give you to provide that insight.
Absolutely. Because I've been in plenty of situations, and Tony, I think you can kind of back me up on this. Is I've been in plenty of situations where people find out you're a CCIE, and they will, okay, what did the CCIE book for data center say on page 496? Like, give me the fourth word out of the whole page. It's like, what? You know, they just try to, you know, kind of, they purposely go after you, and it's like, what's that gonna pull? What are you trying to prove with that?
So,
and if I don't know the answer to that, listen, I don't know, and let me go find the answer for us, and that way we both learn that. And I'm quick to say that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I've dealt with that too, and for me, it speaks to that person's level of insecurity. They're trying to prove to themselves that they're worthy to be a CCIE, so they try to trip us up.
Yeah.
And it's like, I honestly used to engage, but now I don't even engage. people that do stuff like that, and it happens. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's a customer. I totally don't engage. I ignore it and stay with the objective, and don't even participate, because at the end of the day, I can flex if I want to, but then I'm doing a disservice to the CCIE community, and I take the CCIE community very serious.
Right. Absolutely.
Hey, so thank y'all for coming on this live stream. I'm gonna get to some questions from the chat, do some shout outs.
Yeah, we got a couple starting to come in.
Before we get up out of here, I know y'all got to get to your families and stuff. So, shout out to hey Tonio, Kevin. Shout out. I did them earlier.
Can I answer this one real quick?
Go ahead.
From Network Bro. Is that how you said it? Okay, so he's asking both Antonio and myself, what's been tougher for the CCIE, initially passing or recertifying? I think that's a great question. I think that it's a twofold question. So initially passing, you're going to be in, complete study mode and everything else, as far as like, setting up and you've got a routine going. The other half of that is the recertifying, because one thing that I don't like with Cisco with their CCIE exam is that, and I'm talking about after you pass, is a written exam really to me is not going to show you, how, is this, did this person do enough to maintain his or her skill set level within those 2 years? It's to me, and I'm not saying I want to do a lab every year either. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I think that they should do a little bit better with the certification process or the recertifying, because sitting up there doing a 100 question exam every year or every 2 years, it can be very painful, and some of the material is either outdated or is not. They ask you recent questions and the material doesn't match up, so you're always constantly having to go back to either the Cisco validated design documentation, and there's thousands of them. Every single product and technology for ACI, for data center, it's thousands of them. You go through the presentations and the videos from the Cisco Live. Some of that is very high level and doesn't really get into the weeds of what shows up on the lab. So sometimes I think the certification for the actual lab is very tough, but the recertification is even tougher, because now that you have it, you need to maintain it. I've seen so many people, even right now, that have their certification that they have let it lapse due to that complaint, because it's like there needs to be a balance in between that. And Dwan and Kelvin, when you guys get yours, you'll see what I'm talking about, because it's the material to recertify doesn't match what's on the actual lab, or the doesn't match what's on the written exam. So that's one of my complaints.
So here's a question. When you say that, so there's books that are OCG for the CCIE. So what you're saying is that all the information is not necessarily in the books, is what you're saying.
Some of it's in the books, some of it's on the within the Cisco Live. Like for me, when I was doing the security prep for the written, specifically like this last year, I used, because there was no CCIE OCG official certification guide for the security exam. There was multiple books from Cisco Press, but I don't, sometimes you don't have the luxury of reading a page, a book that's like 1,000 pages. Right. So you have to pick and choose your information. So what I did was a combination of Cisco Live products, the presentations, the Cisco validated documentation, those design docs, and then if I didn't get that information from there, then I would either dive into like the Firepower ASA books from Cisco Press, or the AMP malware security press books from Cisco Press. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, it's a combination of multiple resources. Now for the data center, it's a lot different, because I took the boot camp class for the CCIE data center from INE. But for the actual security exam, INE didn't have a lot of updated material. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to come up with something.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think from my standpoint, the way I see it, initially for me anyway, starting off as CCNA and currently trying to work on the CCIE, is that there's a lot more structure when it comes to the CCNA and CCNP level certifications. The content's out there, official certification guides, lab guides, whatever you want. However, when you get to like the CCIE, especially the current CCIE security, as Eric has already mentioned, there's not that much content out there. So you find yourself having to look at the blueprint and then go out there and scout for that information yourself, whether that be white papers, RFCs, books that are out there already, but not the latest book in relation to the current CCIE, whether that be INE, even CCM. Like I've been studying the CCNP security content for the CCIE because there's still relevant information in that for the CCIE. So, it becomes a case of actually having to gather all the material you need and then working through selecting what the best content is in order for you to get the information you need to pass or to attempt to pass that certification. So that's the way I see it work with certifications.
Cool. Do y'all have another question? Do you see another question out there? And let's get like 2 more questions before we out.
Can I just shout out to Lyndon Dallas? He basically said that he didn't expect this type of conversation on this channel. He found out about you guys yesterday, and he says thank you for being so genuine. And I think there's a question actually a little bit further down. So he said, with so many things to learn, resources, sites, where did you start? I've heard about CBT, Nuggets, DevNet. I'm excited about Cisco free content. So I guess he's asking us where we started in terms of how did we actually find some sort of structure or balance when it came to actually learning all these different things that we currently know. So let's start with that one.
I started back in the day with the free resources on Cisco's website, but this is back in 2000 when I started working on certifications, and I bought the official CCNA certification guide and started there, and just had access to lab equipment to practice at home. But that's where I actually started back in the day.
That's kind of tough because when you mention DevNet, you're speaking of technology as where it's going. Every organization doesn't have ACI, APIX. They're not necessarily doing network automation. They don't really have Kubernetes implemented. So starting on DevNet and with that not being something you're doing could be kind of hard to grasp. So if you're new to IT, CBT Nuggets is definitely a great place to start. But I don't really know how to really say where to start rather than just start. Find out what you're actually doing now and where you want to go. I posted before about the CompTIA roadmap, and I'll put a link to it in the description to say, and let me find it now. If somebody else want to answer while I find it, and I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, I think for that question, really, I think really depends on what path you're trying to lead. What certification is it you're trying to attain, or what job is it that you currently have, or job that you're currently trying to get, in order to kind of answer that question. But yeah, I think Dewan's right. If you're talking about DevNet, then definitely check out Cisco DevNet. They've got a website out there where you can learn things like Python, different coding. They've got sandboxes that you can go on, and it's all free. So I'd definitely check out that. I think for me personally, I started with Cisco Net Academy. So I started using Cisco's NetAcad at university, and I got access to things like Packet Tracer and Packet Tracer Labs. And that's how I kind of got the foundation of the routing and switching, and then went on to take the CCNA routing and switching exam. And then when I decided to switch track from generic routing and switching and go over to security, I then started to branch out and learn things myself by going on to websites such as GNS3, and having a look at how to put labs together and downloading, getting different Cisco security-based labs, and then kind of work from there really to the point where I'm at now. I'm doing my own thing.
Cool. Yeah, it's all about what Kelvin said, starting. DevNet has a lot of great resources for Python and everything. So if you're looking to get, I believe he said cybersecurity, I believe there's is it Cybrary or online?
Cyber, yeah.
Cybrary might be another great resource too. From what I'm hearing, I've heard good things about it.
And it's free. And it's free.
And it's free. Let me see if I can find that. You got a link to that, Kelvin?
Yeah, I'll get it now.
Okay, cool. All right. Tonio, you got a question, or Erica? You got one more question before we?
There was one from Daryl earlier. One of the first ones. He asked, "What are some of the affirmations that we say on a daily basis?"
That's a good question.
A reminder to set yourself. And for me, honestly, I put it in the chat, but I said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world, and I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. All of us have, all four of us have some level of faith in something greater than ourselves, and I rely on that very heavily to help me get through and to keep me grounded and to keep me focused, especially when times are tough.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was I don't know if you guys know about this. He calls himself the hip hop teacher, hip hop preacher. His name is Eric Thomas, and I follow him. I love a lot of his teachings and sayings and everything else. So there was a show that he did, or a special that he did on Buster Douglas. And it was in reference to when Douglas had beat Mike Tyson. And, it was basically about resilience and pushing through whatever obstacle is in your way. And so what his saying was, and I kind of adopted him. In fact, I got a tattoo on my arm for it, is I can, I will, and I must. And then I also adopted, Floyd Mayweather's, saying, which is what? Hard work, dedication, and belief. And so for me, that's tatted on my left arm here, is I can, I will, I must, hard work, dedication, and belief. So.
Yeah, I kind of echo the same things. I think in terms of tattoos, I've got one right here that says blessed. I think for me, it symbolizes that I'm blessed and, I can do. And from a spiritual standpoint, I also like to, there's something called law of attraction. I kind of follow that quite a lot. It's just about having that positive can-do attitude, and things like just really appreciating what you have in the present, and working to while still working towards what you want. So I think for point of this, I've still got this book here, so I do things, it's called a gratitude journal. So every day, every morning, I'll start my day off by writing what I'm grateful for, before I go forward with my day. So just things like that really, and basically what you guys have already echoed. That's what I do.
Yeah, for me, I more so disconnect. A lot of times, social media and the stuff that you see and the wrong environment can sometimes bring you down and put you in a mind state that is not healthy. And so for me, what I do is take a step back and chill with my kids. I'm not really an affirmation statement guy. I'm more so a reality-based person. Okay, what's right in front of me that I can be thankful for? You know, I kind of just take a step back and do some gratitude, like what Kelvin was saying, and just put everything in perspective. I speak on that a lot, but a lot of times, you know, when we chasing, you know, chasing that certification, chasing that bag, chasing them job titles, chasing that house you want, chasing that car you want. Sometimes you need to be thankful that the car you got is working right now. You know, there's people out here without cars. And sometimes you need to be thankful for the roof that's over your head that you have now. And if you're working towards the goal, just because you haven't achieved it yet doesn't mean you're not going to achieve it. Because hard work and dedication, as Erica said, doesn't come with a timeline. It doesn't say, you know, hard work for 1 year and it's going to pay off for 3 days and you'll get for CCNA. It doesn't work like that.
Right. Right.
So just put everything in perspective. And if you need affirmation statements, like they said, hit up ET. ET is that guy, and there's many others, Tony Robbins, and so many different people out there that put out helpful content that just is encouraging. So it's cold as hell in my garage. We're gonna hit 2 hours, and I'm in here freezing. But hey, I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned into this live stream, everyone that has subscribed, liked my videos, disliked my videos, reviewed them, shared them, whatever. Thank you. 2019 is your year. But the only way it's going to be your year is if you put in the work. And so for me, my mindset for 2019 is work. It isn't about achieving any certification. It isn't about getting another job. It isn't about getting raised. It's about work, because with work comes what?
Results. Success.
Results. And so for 2019, it's all about the work, because everything that's going to come is just going to be another failure on my journey to success or whatever. It's all on the journey to get to where I want to go. And the only way I'm going to get there is putting in the work.
Fact. And for me, going forward, 2019 is not about the goals or all of that. It's 100% about love and gratitude. Love and gratitude is going to bring everything else that my mind could even possibly imagine.
Yeah. Cool. For me, I'm all about that. Goals 2019, you know, certifications is, you know, still something that I'm trying to achieve. I'm still trying to get to where I want to be within the current company that I work. And, you know, I'm still trying to make more time for my little girl down here and give her everything she wants and make sure she has everything she wants. So, you know, this is the reason why I set goals. This is a reason why I do what I do. And, you know, this Lab Everyday community is just part of me being able to give back and share with you guys the sort of things that, you know, I go through, and also letting you know that it's not just all successes. You know, it's not an easy road out here. You know, the people often just see successes. There's a lot of things that, you know, you don't see. So hopefully this is an insight into some of the things that you don't see beneath the surface.
Right. Facts. My thing is, I'm just trying to improve on what I did from last year, and just instead of just only focusing on just the tech, just kind of still become a little bit more well-rounded as a person, and not be so just like engulfed with just technology and head down, because there's so much else out there besides just that. So that's my goals for next year.
Hey, real quick to leave y'all with something. Check on your strong friend. They probably need it.
Yeah, that is a great statement.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, happy New Year. Let's get to it. I can't wait.
Happy New Year, everybody. And make sure you're setting those goals. You know, if you're going into 2019 with no goals, and what are you doing? Make sure you set some goals and make sure you're working towards achieving those goals.
You know what? That's interesting. Let's do this. So let's do Lab Every Day 2019 goals hashtag and tweet one goal that you have. Like the number one goal that's going to change your life. It don't have to be a major goal. It could just be one goal that will make your tomorrow a better tomorrow. And that could be what you focus on for the entire year. So find that one goal that's going to change your life. Lab Every Day 2019 goal. Just one goal. And I want to see it on Twitter.
And if you know you're going to achieve that, you know, if you feel like putting that in on Twitter or on social media, let us know you're going to achieve it. Do you need help? You know, maybe somebody within the community can help.
Yeah, and it's something, you know, next year we can go through the list of everybody that tweeted this out. You know, we can kind of go through the list. I'm gonna tweet out my goal. Kelvin, you tweet out your goal. Erica?
Yeah, I'm doing mine right now as we speak.
Antonio?
I'm doing it right now.
Cool. And then, you know, next year we can kind of reflect and say, all right, well, how do we accomplish it? And we can kind of hold each other accountable. Mine is going to be weight loss because I believe me getting healthy is going to be better for everything in my life. So, cool. Thank y'all. Well, we'll catch y'all in 19?
19,
baby. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Mine is out there.